Okay, so you've accepted the fact that your child is alienating you and that you belong to an exclusive club of alienated grandparents. Our club is getting bigger, I have to tell you. About 25% of us belong to this club. So you're at the point where maybe you're like a year in and you still like can't believe that your kid is stretching this out so far. And it's time to like pick up the pieces and figure out what direction you're going to go in, because you can't be a victim forever. You can't be sad forever. You're going to go through stages of grief, and the stages of grief are disbelief, and then shock, and you go into fixing mode. You want to fix everything, and then you move into anger, and then you move into this. I'm just going to warn you, you're going to move into this deep dark sadness, this grief of you're mourning a relationship that has dissolved. You're mourning the relationship that you used to have with your grandkids. And this grief part, this sadness part can be dark, and it can be a deep chasm of why me and victimhood. And so if this is where you're at now, I feel you. And you have to go through, you have to just move through it and know that there is light at the end of the tunnel. Because once you realize that, okay, I just got to get a grip on myself and, figure out who I am, because you used to be somebody's mom, and then you used to be somebody's grandma, and you still are those things, but you have nothing validating that. You know what I'm saying? So you got to figure out, okay, who am I without those things? And speaking to a specific group of people, if this is not you, then, I empathize. And maybe you skipped right over all that and you're all like, screw them. I'm going to live my life for me now. And that's perfectly fine. But, for some of us, we had to move through all of these phases, and you get to the end of that grief and you're like, okay, got to dust myself off and figure out who I am moving forward and where I'm going. So you've got to rewrite your story. Okay. You can't be a victim forever, because it is damaging to your psyche. It causes you a lot of mental and physical stress. And I'm, painting this picture and guiding you through it, because the reason why I can talk about all the steps is because we all go through it. It's very common. So we got to figure out, like, who am I? And I am more of a person than what happened to me. That's very victim. That's very victimy, if that's a word. But that it doesn't define you. The kid cutting you off, whatever the reasons are, that doesn't define you, because you're a valid, valuable, beautiful human being, and you have so much more to give this world. And when we move on, your old story was that they paint you as difficult, they paint you as toxic, they paint you as narcissistic. Again, they just throw these words around like it's like, common. Like, so many people, you got to fit into this box. You're either toxic, or you're narcissistic, or you're controlling, or, they got to put you in some kind of box. Okay. I'm not a shoe. I don't need to be in a box. So, that they've painted you this picture of you, and it's easy to start believing that version of yourself is you, and it's not, because everybody looks at other people through a lens, and this is the lens by which they are viewing you, and that is not the reality, and you don't have to accept that as the reality for your life. So we'll talk about, what happens next. What is the next step for me? So I think that, introspection is a good thing. Just take a look at, who I am, how I contributed to all of the relationships in my life. Do I want to continue on that path, or do I want to move on and be like a better version of myself? Do I want to start living myself for me? Because as parents and then grandparents, we were defined, like women especially, we can be defined by these roles because we've always been for like, and I'm still a mom. Okay, just because one of my kids doesn't talk to me doesn't mean I'm not a mom anymore. I'm still a mom. But being a mom doesn't define me because I'm a business owner, I'm a woman, I'm a friend, I'm a confidant, I'm an advisor, I'm a coach. There's so many aspects. I'm a sister, I'm a daughter. There are so many aspects of you that you don't have to be wearing this victim suit. Like, this is all the stuff that's happening to me. So let's move out of that. Let's move forward from that and figure out what your next step is going to be. So, you can replay all of the conversations in your head, and that kind of keeps you stuck. So let's talk about rewriting your story. If you are at the point where you want to rewrite your story, you're ready to I'm going to take the bull by the horns and figure out what I want to do next. Drop me a comment and let me know, what kind of ideas do you have, or what had happened to you, and how is it you plan on moving forward? I would love to hear about that. Really, I would love to hear about that. And, so we don't have to live within the confines of the box that other people put us in. So think about, and for me, it's like thinking about my future is the most exciting thing because I get to create my future. I get to paint the picture of my future, and so can you. So think about what you want to do next, where you want to go. Do you want to travel? Do you want to join some kind of club? If you are lonely and you feel like you don't have a lot of friends, join some clubs. There's Kiwanis. I think Kiwanis is like they're a charity, and they collect donations and stuff. You can join Toastmasters. Toastmasters is a wonderful club to join. It teaches you about public speaking. Even though you're not going to be a public speaker, you don't have to have that limitation, but learning how to speak in public and speak in front of other people, it's very empowering. Even though you're not going to do it, when you speak in front of your Toastmasters group and you can speak freely and without any ums, ahs, or ands or so's. See, you're going to get it when you join Toastmasters. So you can do that. You can join the Chamber of Commerce if you work for a company and you can join on their behalf, or if you have your own business, you can join the Chamber of Commerce. These are wonderful opportunities for you to get out and meet people and, build a community of friends and associates and other business owners. Put yourself out there. Don't be staying home by yourself. Even though, let's just say you work at the DMV, okay? So a DMV person is maybe not going to join the chapter. Maybe the DMV doesn't have a chamber membership. Join a book club, okay? Volunteer for the Girl Scouts, or volunteer for the Boy Scouts, volunteer for the soup kitchen. Put yourself out there in front of other people, and you'll feel your confidence coming back. Because if you just wallow and sit at home and think about, your loneliness and you're not being with your grandkid, or, that your daughter, your son, your daughter-in-law, whatever the case may be, don't sit at home and think about that. Rewrite your story, paint the picture for your future and what it is that you want for yourself. Because like I said, you are a wonderful human being. And we're so glad that you are here listening to our content and, engaging with us. We really appreciate it. So that's all I had to share for today. Go on and rewrite your story and let me know in the comments again, what are your plans? What are you going to do? Mention something that you go take a look at some clubs that you could join and let me know if you've done that or not. I would love to hear about it. So again, my name is Andy. This is AlieNation. Thanks for coming by and seeing us today. We really appreciate you.